Welcome to Katie Calls BS, the podcast where we cut through the noise in course creation, digital products, and business strategy. I'm Katie Miller, bringing you blunt advice, real action steps, and the occasional F-bomb because building a business is hard and the BS isn't helping. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Katie Calls BS. Holy shit, 150 episodes. Okay, buckle up because this one is going to hit different. I started this podcast because I was tired of all the BS advice and information in the online business space. It still irritates me, which is why I will probably have a podcast for a long time. I've done a lot of episodes about what to build and how to build your digital products, the 4-layer suite, the ecosystem, pricing, your next steps. But what happens if you ignore everything I've said and you don't build any of it? Not because it's wrong, because it's not. But most people don't choose it on purpose. They just keep doing what they're doing, one good year at a time, and never build digital products or diversify their income streams. You do you, boo. Today, I'm calling your BS. I'm going to lay it out as clear as I can, as kindly as I can, not in this what it looks like to fail, but here's the math and the path if you don't way. Then it's up to you, as it always is, because this is your business. You will have all the information. You can sit with it for a bit and process. I think everyone deserves to have all the information, which is another reason why I do this podcast, because I'm afraid that there's a lot of one-sided information on the internet. And when we get fed a lot of it, it's just, I think that's BS. Let's be super clear about this idea of what keep doing client work only looks like as a business model, because it's really easy to gloss over what that looks like if you just keep doing that model. It means that your revenue ceiling is your entire calendar. There's a maximum number of hours you can sell. And once you hit it, your growth stops being about working harder and starts being about raising your prices or adding team members. Both of those have limits too. There's a ceiling on what your market will pay. And there's a ceiling on how much delegation a fully custom, relationship-driven service can absorb before the quality starts to slip. It means that every dollar you make this year requires you to show up and make it again next year. There's no carryover, no asset compounding in the background. The business resets to zero every month, every new client, every January, and you start running again. It means your time and your income are permanently the same variable. They move together. When one goes down, so does the other. There's no version of this model where they separate. None of that is a moral failing. It's just what the model is. A lot of really successful businesses run exactly this way on purpose for years. It's a legitimate choice. There's nothing wrong with this choice. The problem isn't the model. The problem is that a lot of people don't know that they're in it. So let's run the tape forward. 3 years from now, 3 years from today, if nothing structural changes in your business, what does this actually look like for you? Probably, hopefully, you're a lot busier. Not because your business is bigger in any meaningful sense, but because your reputation has grown a lot. More people know your name. Your demand has outpaced your capacity. You're either turning away the kind of clients you used to take, or you've started saying yes to things that don't quite fit just to keep your calendar full. You're taking on side quest jobs. Your pricing has probably gone up. That's good. We want that to happen. That's the leverage that you have. But you've likely also noticed that there's a ceiling. There's a number where your market starts to push back, where that's what she charges now turns into, that's a lot. And you bump against it more than you want to. We all are going to have those questions about pricing. And you charge what you're worth, please. But that's a different issue. You're a little more tired, maybe a lot. It's a slow creep. There's less patience for the parts of the work that used to feel fine. There's more days where you're running the business instead of building it. You have a lot less time for the building part of your business. Here's the part that's easy to miss in this year 3 part from now. Specifically, you still feel like things are working. Your revenue is fine, maybe even good. I hope it's good. This is the stage where the cost of the default path is the least visible because the calendar pressure hasn't become crisis yet. It's just sort of background noise. Now push it 5 years out from today. The invisible ceiling, the point where your calendar is full, your reputation is strong, and you're still not making meaningfully more than you were 2 years ago. Hopefully it's more, but it's not like miles more, has probably arrived. Because remember, we're still at the point if you're following the model of clients only, where you can only take on so much work. You can't do much more than a certain number of hours, but you're at the point where you're not making meaningfully more. It's a well-documented pattern in service businesses specifically. You can't make more of yourself. Capacity is capacity. If life has thrown you anything in those 5 years, in the next 5 years, and statistically, something usually does, there's a health issue, a family situation, a season that demanded more of you personally, you've felt exactly how fragile a calendar-dependent business is. We talked about this in episode 141. The business has no mechanism for generating value when you weren't actively working in it. That's not a hypothetical at year 5. Most people have lived at least one version of it by then. Burnout isn't a hypothetical either at this point. Across the board, business owner burnout numbers are high. Most of us have experienced it at some point within our businesses. A large share of owners report experiencing it within any given year, and the always-on revenue equals presence model is one of the most common structural causes. Not because the people running these businesses are weak or can't handle it, because the model has no shock absorber built in. There's no time for a break. You're just always going. Probably the hardest part to sit with. You're doing the same work you were doing at year 1. You're more skilled, better priced, more respected, but structurally, it's the same trade, time for money, every single day still. This is the standard business path. It's not failure by any means. Let's be clear. I'm not sharing any of this because I want you to build your digital product suite this week. Plenty of people follow this model and it's the only one they want. Some people don't want a digital product ecosystem. Some people want to do the deep, custom, one-to-one work for the next 20 years, and that is a completely legitimate, respectable choice. What I have a problem with and where I will push back is the version where you wake up and realize that you didn't decide. Where 5 years pass and the business looks exactly like I just described, and you as the business owner never actually chose that. It just happened. One busy season at a time. Because building anything else kept losing to the thing with a deadline attached, like client work. You can do whatever you want with your business. I'm not going to tell you how to run it unless you pay me to do that. But I will push back when you let your business choose you and say it's not your choice. The alternative isn't complicated. It's everything we've talked about on this show: a defined job for what you build, a digital learning suite that takes some of what you know and gives it a life outside your calendar, pricing that reflects value instead of effort, infrastructure that gives your business room to breathe when life requires something of you that your calendar can't currently afford. None of it requires you to stop doing client work. None of it requires a total reinvention. It requires deciding on purpose that you don't want the 5-year version I just walked you through to be your only version. That decision is the whole thing. Not building a mini course this week, not panic building a template tomorrow. Deciding the version that you want. Before we take a break and come back with new episodes, think about this. Look honestly at the 3-year and 5-year version of your business. If nothing changes from today, don't panic about it. Is that the business you're choosing or the business that's happening to you? If it's the one you're choosing, genuinely, on purpose, keep going. That's a real answer, and I respect it. If it's not, you don't have to solve it today. You don't have to solve it this month. But you do have to stop letting it run on autopilot. Pick one thing from the last 20 episodes. The defined job question from episode 134, the one thing 5 ways exercise from last episode, whatever's been sitting with you, and do something with it. Whenever you're ready to look at the whole picture, what you've built, what's missing, and what your business actually needs to stop running on the calendar-only model, The digital product infrastructure audit will be right here. The link is in the show bio. I'm taking a little break, not because anything's wrong, because I want to practice what I've spent this whole series telling you. A business that can breathe doesn't just mean yours, it means mine too. I've been producing weekly podcast episodes for over a year and running my business alongside it. 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I want both of us to be running businesses we actually choose, not ones that just happened while we were busy. We chose to start businesses because we love what we do. Don't forget about that part. If you aren't loving it, take a breath. Figure out how you can get back to what you love. Have a great week, and thank you for being a listener of Katie Calls BS. I'll see you next time. If this episode hit home, your next step isn't to build anything. It's to audit what you already have. I offer a paid infrastructure audit where I review your current offers, delivery load, and where your business is relying too heavily on you. You'll get a clear decision doc and a Loom walkthrough outlining what actually makes sense next. The link is in the show notes.